Whoa, did you see this? A tornado touching down in southeastern Wisconsin, not far from Milwaukee, Tuesday night, August 18th, 2026. This was caught by Blake Bossy. That name might sound familiar. Bossy's Taste of Country there in Colgate, Wisconsin. A wonderful farm in the area that got hit by this EF0 tornado. And you can see just beyond the flag there, the edge of that tornado, some debris flying through the air as well. This was a part of a squall line that moved through southeastern Wisconsin on that Tuesday night. So let's do a deep dive and talk about what happened here. So take a look. This was an EF0 tornado that was only on the ground for 2 minutes, and Blake happened to catch this here. Maximum winds of 80 miles per hour. That's significant in that it wasn't much stronger than straight line winds coming out of the storm. So this was not a super powerful tornado, but it was enough of a tornado with a path length just over 0.4 of a mile. It was 50 yards wide. And again, the National Weather Service confirming that this was an EF0 tornado. Now that scale goes from 0 to 5, 0 being the weakest, 5 being the strongest. Now, let's take a look at the radar and analyze this here. We are zoomed in towards Menominee Falls. You see Richfield there and Germantown. So if you look just to the southwest of Germantown, you're going to see that little notch come right through there. That is the tornado that moved on through. It was a part of a larger squall line, which we'll talk about in a moment. But now take a look at the storm relative velocity. And this is where we're able to look at the spin. And you can clearly see the green and the red next to each other in the exact area where Blake's video is from. And so the red is the winds going away from the radar, and the radar is southwest of this area here where it touched down. So you have winds effectively going north in the red and then south in the green, and that's creating your counterclockwise wind flow. It was a very brief, again, a 2-minute tornado. Amazing that it didn't continue into Menominee Falls, which was right next door. Very similar path to what happened, by the way, in April with that EF2 tornado that hit Lisbon. Now, this was just a part of the storm. This was part of a much larger squall line that came through the area. So this was embedded rotation within the squall line. It's what we call a QLCS, or quasi-linear convective system. I know, it's a mouthful. In fact, tornadoes weren't really in the forecast with this storm, but because the line developed, you can sometimes get these little rotations or weak tornadoes, which is what we saw. But that was not the only issue. Well, a tornado warning was extended into Milwaukee County, including American Family Field, where the Brewers were playing at the time. We did not see evidence, or the National Weather Service, I should say, did not see evidence of a tornado into Milwaukee County as it became what we call outflow dominant, turning into strong straight line winds. And we had plenty of damage when it came to the storm into the Milwaukee County area as well. So that little rotation was only a part of the story. The tornado was only a part of the story here. The damage continued, but again, part of it was straight line winds. A small part of it was rotating, but again, either way, the damage is effectively the same. This goes to show this is the storm relative velocity here, and that is showing where you can see the tornado going through again just to the west of Menominee Falls. But let me go to what's called the normal velocity. Storm relative takes out the storm motion, so it helps with tornadic activity, and again, you can see that pushing through. But if we switch over to the velocity, this is better for outflow dominant storms. Watch what happens over Milwaukee with the red. Right there, boom. You see those strong winds coming outside of the front side of the storm. So that's further proof that this was straight line wind damage after it dropped the tornado. So there were sort of multiple threats here with this squall line. And take a look at the damage that it did. This is from, actually, this should read Corey. Let me change that here. This is a credit from Corey that was in Lisbon, Wisconsin, with the tree down on the house. So credit to Corey there in Lisbon, Wisconsin. Look at that. big time damage. And then this is from Nickenow Creek showing the shelf cloud that came through. And that's really common with squall lines. You'll get these shelf clouds where the cooler air is coming out of the front side of the storm, the warmer air is rising, and it's creating that pretty incredible cloud. So again, in summary, an EF0 tornado touched down in the Colgate, Hubertus, Richfield area for 2 minutes on Tuesday night, August 18th. It was an EF0, but again, caught on camera by Blake Bossy, as you saw there. Then it became outflow dominant, meaning those 70, 80 mile per hour winds persisted into Milwaukee County, and that big shelf cloud as well is really representative of that outflowing, the really downburst type winds that you see out of squall lines like this, and that's what we had in association. So it was an interesting forecast in that it ramped up very quickly, and I think that's the other point to this. Is it ramped up fast. I mean, it went from a pretty low level severe weather risk to all of a sudden as the day went on, it was going, oh, wait, this is getting a little worse. This is getting a little worse. And then when we had the big line develop, now you have this QLCS feature in there that also produced the tornado. So severe thunderstorms, just as dangerous as tornadoes. In this case, they're really just as strong. Incredible that Blake was able to capture that 2-minute tornado on video. Just amazing. And nobody was hurt. We didn't have any fatalities. Yes, there was damage, but, we got very lucky here. I mean, this was a serious, serious storm that had there been a little more power with it, it could have been much, much worse. I mean, we could have been dealing with 100 mile per hour winds. We could have been dealing with EF1 or EF2 tornadoes, and we know what that's like back in April of 2026 in the Lisbon, Sussex area that got hit very hard. So again, it was really almost a repeat, just a little bit weaker than what we had in April. A very busy, severe weather season in 2026 in southeastern Wisconsin. That is your latest deep dive. Please make sure to give me a follow, give me a subscribe, give me a like, and follow for the latest weather information.